Was Herodotus the father of history or the father of lies? Very few things happen at the right time, and the rest do not happen at all. The historian will correct these defects. Imagine a world before history. Wars raged, empires rose, civilizations flourished, yet no one wrote down why. Myths explained the past, gods punishing mortals, heroes slaying monsters. Truth and fable blended seamlessly. And then came one man, Herodotus of Halicarnassus, who dared to ask, what if the past could be studied, questioned, and remembered not as legend, but as inquiry? But was he the world's first historian, or simply the greatest storyteller of antiquity? To find out, we must journey across deserts and battlefields, through temples and courts, following the pen of the man who first tried to capture truth itself. Herodotus was born around 484 BCE in Halicarnassus, a Greek city under Persian control. This dual identity, Greek culture under Persian rule, shaped his fascination with the clash of civilizations. We know little of his personal life, but much of his curiosity. He traveled farther than most Greeks of his time. Egypt, Babylon, Scythia, the Black Sea, even the heart of Greece itself. Wherever he went, he asked questions, gathered stories, and wrote them down. But what exactly was he writing? It was not history as we know it. It was something stranger, richer, and far more human. Herodotus titled his work, Histories, but in Greek, historia meant inquiry, investigation, a search for knowledge. His main goal was to explain the Greco-Persian Wars. How could tiny Greek city-states defeat the vast Persian Empire? But his narrative never stayed in one place. He wandered into Egyptian religion, Scythian customs, Babylonian marvels, and Indian wonders. To us, these digressions look like distractions, but for Herodotus, they were essential. To understand war, one must understand peoples. To explain events, one must see the world. And yet, his world encyclopedia raised another question. How much of it was true? Herodotus was, in a sense, the first documentary filmmaker. His work blended war reports with anthropology, travel writing, and wonder. Herodotus takes us on a journey across the ancient world. He reveals the mysterious floods of the Nile, shows us the lightning-fast Persian courier system, uncovers the secrets of Egyptian mummification, and even invites us into the ritual tents of Scythian nomads, where they inhaled hemp smoke as part of their ceremonies. He paints a living world of diversity, color, and difference. But what do we do with the parts that sound unbelievable? Gold-digging ants the size of foxes, phoenix birds, giant snakes? From the beginning, critics doubted him. The historian Thucydides scoffed that Herodotus prioritized entertainment over accuracy. Later, Plutarch labeled him the father of lies. And yet, modern archaeology has redeemed him again and again. The Persian royal road? Confirmed. His descriptions of Egyptian embalming? Accurate. The Scythian cannabis rituals? Once ridiculed, now backed by hard evidence. Yes, he reported marvels that strain belief. But perhaps he was not lying. He was recording voices, preserving the stories people told him. He gave us the first raw, messy draft of history. Nowhere is this clearer than in his account of the wars that defined his age. Herodotus is our greatest source on the Greco-Persian Wars. At Marathon, he shows us how 10,000 Athenians shocked the world by defeating Persian forces. At Thermopylae, he immortalizes Leonidas and the 300 Spartans, who resisted Xerxes' army to the last breath. At Salamis, he tells of the naval trickery of Themistocles, who lured the Persians into narrow waters, changing history forever. Without Herodotus, these stories would be myth. With him, they became history, though always with a storyteller's touch. But what made him unique was not just retelling battles, but asking, why do wars happen at all? Herodotus was revolutionary because he searched for causes. He argued that wars did not come from gods, but from hubris, ambition, fear, and revenge. Xerxes invaded Greece not by divine command, but because of power and pride. This was something new. History was no longer destiny imposed from above. It was the result of human choices. And yet, his curiosity extended far beyond politics, into the marvels and mysteries of the wider world. Herodotus loved to catalog wonders: the Great Pyramid, the riches of Croesus, the temples of Babylon, the elephants of India. But his wonders were more than entertainment. They were a way of asking, how do humans everywhere make meaning of the world? He gave voice to cultures that might have been forgotten. Without Herodotus, whole worlds would vanish into silence. Still, was he truly a historian or a master storyteller disguised as one? Herodotus does not give us lists of dates. He gives us narratives. Take Croesus, king of Lydia, who asked the oracle at Delphi if he should wage war. The oracle replied, "If you go to war, you will destroy a great empire." Croesus went and destroyed his own. This is not just history. It is moral theater. Lessons woven into events. A blend of fact and parable that ensures the story is never forgotten. But the story of history itself did not end with Herodotus. A rival would rise, Thucydides. If Herodotus was the first historian, Thucydides was the first historian to employ a scientific approach. Thucydides rejected myths and wonders. He wrote only of what he could verify, focusing on logic and evidence. To him, Herodotus was too naive, too fond of tales. But perhaps both were necessary. Herodotus gave us humanity, diversity, and imagination. Thucydides gave us rigor, precision, and skepticism. Even today, historians debate. Is history about facts alone, or about the meaning of human experience? And that question leads us all the way to the present day. In many ways, Herodotus was not only the first historian, but also the first journalist. He reported what he saw, what others told him, and what he judged plausible. He admitted his doubts, often saying, "This is what I was told, though I cannot be sure." This honesty feels strikingly modern. Like a reporter, he gave multiple versions of events, letting the reader decide. Even today, journalists face the same dilemma. Report facts, but also capture the human truth, the meaning behind them. Which raises the final question: what is history itself? Truth or storytelling? Herodotus likely died around 425 BCE, perhaps in Thurii, in southern Italy. But his work survived. Romans mined his stories. Medieval scholars preserved them. Renaissance thinkers rediscovered him. Enlightenment philosophers debated him. Voltaire mocked him as the father of lies. Modern historians praise him as the father of history. Both may be true. His work has been read for 2,500 years because it does more than inform. It captivates. So who was Herodotus? A liar? A historian? A traveler? A storyteller? Perhaps all at once. But what cannot be denied is this: he changed the way humans think about the past. He replaced myth with inquiry, gods with people, fate with causes. And in doing so, he gave us not just history, but the very habit of questioning. Because history is not only what happened, it is what we choose to remember and what we dare to ask. So here is the challenge. Herodotus leaves us. Is history about truth or about storytelling? And if you believe, like Herodotus, that stories matter, that remembering matters, then subscribe. Only 1% ever do. But as Herodotus himself proved, it takes just one voice to preserve the memory of the world.